Hello, everyone. Welcome to, what is this called? The summer series?
Yeah, IGDN Summer Series.
Welcome to the IGDN summer series. We are a bunch of indie creators. We're talking about games because we all make games. The topic for this one is, actually, before. No, the topic. We'll do the topic first. The topic for this one is making games when you're bad at art, essentially. I I am Maddie May. I also go around as Milkboy Games. I've made a few games. I've made Camp Cryptid. I've made Let Me Be a Thrall. I have a few other in the works. I am not an artist. I am mostly just a writer and narrative designer. But there is art in those games, so I think I'm pretty qualified to speak on this. And why don't you introduce yourself, Will?
Yeah, I'm Will Munn. I'm I guess I should have done I forgot to do the banners. Holy cow. I feel like everything is wrong. You know what? Let's show Maddie's banner first. See? Look at that. Now you can know the names of the games. You can see them and read them. It's really good. Okay. All right. I'm Will. I publish and design games. I've published and designed games that are, good and fun, and you should play them. And that's all I have to say.
Nailed it. That's all a game needs to be.
Yep.
Last but not least, I'm Matt Best. I'm part of Infinite Citadel, an indie TTRPG co-op. We make a bunch of different kind of games, from zines for Cyborg, like Terminal Upgrades, to big, full, their own games like Mark Soul and The Beckoning Dream. And yeah, that's me. I am also, I feel a little bit weird being here, only because I work with fantastic artists. I work with Andrew and Conlon, who are amazing at art and are constantly teaching me new things. But I am absolutely on brand for this because I suck at art. I write, I do good word. I word well, and that's it. No, everything else is faking it till I make it.
All right. We'll just jump right in, I guess. Bear with me because I've never done anything like this before. New experiences. So we'll just start with a first question of what's a game or product you made that you're really proud of but didn't have any artwork, and how did you achieve that? I haven't so far made a game without any artwork. I kind of just like wing it, because I feel like there's a lot of times where I feel like I need to fill gaps in like paragraphs, and so I just me personally, I just kind of work with like the little skill that I have, and I make a shitty doodle and just throw it on, and that kind of gives it some charm. There is a sense of personality there when it's just like, this is what I can do. It's not great, but it is a style. It is an art style that is recognizable and kind of unique. What about y'all? Do you have any games you've made without art?
I guess so. This is where it gets tricky. Like, what is art? The definition. But I think one thing I made that was very low art was a little one-page RPG called Slime Time that I literally just like doodled a little happy slime blob on the front, just like waving at you, and that was the extent of the art, other than just like this like goopy font choice that looked all slimed. It's just like, you want to play as the oozes inside of a dungeon, and it has very like Honey Heist style dice bounding, and so it was all text, and that was it. I think it's one pager, it's already going to be tight. So I guess maybe if you're looking for something that could be adviceful, would be like, do a one pager, because you don't need a lot of art. on a one pager. In fact, you're going to be using most of that space for the words.
I think that's great advice. I haven't made a game without any art. I've written like a serialized story without any art, and some things like that. But no, I'd never. Yeah, I do the words good, but I basically it's all tips and tricks about how to get art right. I'll say that for later. But yeah, I haven't done a game without art. I feel like a one pager is a really great place to start, though. For that, that's excellent advice.
I also find good practice in doing like little index card games. Like you can't fit a lot of art on an index card, especially if you need to put like a concise, like working game on it.
Yeah.
So making little index card games, people like them. Like you see them, you can just make them and like give them out. Like it's good practice. People really like when there's something on a little index card that like has words and might be fun.
Or business card RPG.
Yeah, I've seen bookmark ones,
mm-hmm.
But then we're getting into weird printing stuff. So
yeah.
Second question here. What is your favorite source for visual assets? I do go to, I just kind of Google like free, like one of my recent games I needed like blood splatter and I was just not drawing it well. It's like, okay, like license free, royalty free blood splatter, and you just find websites where like, yeah, you just download this and use this and no one cares. So that helps a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking for stuff that's open licensed is really good. I think you do have to be cautious because I think now people are also open licensing the things that they created with AI slop engines. But I think as long as you like keep an eye on that, that's one good source for sure.
Yes. I will I have actually a big list because I have sucked at art for so long that I started making
a long list too. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I didn't.
No, you didn't. You're good.
One of the first ones I ever used that I really, really like because it's got both a good search and like a good visual tiling is Rick's Museum, RIJKS Museum. And it is just this big repository of public domain work, just old artwork from all over the place. And you could find everything from Renaissance paintings to old like Japanese, like illuminated, like the equivalent of illuminated manuscript to like, I've used that for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I will also say that on the blood spatter note, Maddie, you got me thinking about Texture Labs. Texture Labs is fantastic. Like Texture Labs has, if it's not on Texture Labs, you are really going off the deep end, and you might be able to find like good little asset packs on like itch.io. There's lots of people who post stuff on there that are like Tanya Herrero just posted like that big like monster menagerie series that has like a lot of great monsters that you can like combo up on stuff. And then the last one I'll say is Pexels. That one's a good, like if you're just looking for like kind of classic stock art, like random person smiling at camera, thumbs up, like that kind of stuff. It's got a lot of pretty basic good stuff on there. It's all CC library, so really easy to credit, really easy to download and use.
Yeah.
There was a museum that recently put all its stuff up as like royalty free recently. I forget which.
It happens often, I think. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of just, you can just find something there. And honestly, it's good to go through this stuff and get like inspiration. You might see a piece of art that is just like, oh, I have a whole idea for a game from this.
Yes.
And you can just use that.
I have said multiple. If I was in like a space where there was one system that I just wanted to make so many monsters for, like find artists that do CC stuff, either Creative Commons or Creative Comrades, because I know Strago Wolf publishes things under Creative Comrades, and Kim Holm does the. If you've ever been on TikTok and seen the Ink Blot Monsters guy, they do fantastic work with just black and white canvas, and it's it's very like if you wanted to make like you could probably make multiple Morkborg zines just off of what Kim Holm has done and just giving all of his artwork like stat blocks. It's really cool.
That's way cool. Love that. So I've used a lot of those similar things, and I think we talked a little bit about this in the pre-show. Like there's a line between, well, what's art, what's an illustrative art, and what's graphic design art, right? But I think like vector art sometimes doesn't feel like illustrative art, but there's a lot of good stuff out there that you can use, and because of the way that it is, because it's vectored, like you can really like be imaginative with how you use it. Like you can use it huge and just use like a tiny piece of it, or you could use it very, very small. I not free, but I think stock art that you either pay us a very cheap subscription for, or maybe backing actual artists who are making stock art on the regular on Patreon. I actually back like 4 or 5 different little artists on Patreon who I like their stuff a lot and I want to support them, and they can have my $5 and I can, every month, and I can have, good art that I can pull and use. And honestly, like one of the things about many of those is when you get in there onto their Patreon, like you're getting access to pretty much their whole back catalog when you first sign up for a month, which it's really a steal, honestly. Like $5 or $10, and then you have access to basically all of this art, and you can download it all and use it if you want to. And then stick around for the fresh stuff. Keep supporting them if you can afford it. If you can't, then come back when you can. So I think that's one of my faves. I love that. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Pexels like things out there, I think, right?
Specifically for like vector style art, if you want something that's more iconographic, simple, Noun Project is really good. They have both a paid version and a free, CC BY version that both are really, really good. I use them for small little icons that I'm, especially when I was still, now I can usually do it. Now I have enough of I can do a line tool, I can do shape tools, I can get it done. Right. But back before I had that, it was like, it's nice to just be like, oh, I need a cat logo that doesn't look awful. Like, let me download it. I just need an eye logo that doesn't look awful. Let me download that. Awesome. Great. Checkbox.
Yep. There are also like big packs of things like that on itch that you can get. And they're, often free or very cheap. Yeah.
Okay. Our third question here is, what is the fastest way to make a page of text look good? My answer to this is shape language. Learn how to make it look like the words are flowing in the way you want them to. And you don't want things to be too crowded, because it can get busy. You see a big wall of words, you're not going to want to read it, right? So you can get creative in the way your placement of text goes. Your text is just a shape, but with words. So you can do a lot of interesting shapes with your text. Like you can shape your text box round and have it layered and stuff like that. And yeah, it just helps to learn the flow of information with shape language. I'll also say a good way to a good thing to reference for RPG specifically is cookbooks. Cookbooks
Ooh, yeah.
are a really good and this is not like if we're taking RPGs out of the question, right? Cookbooks have a good way of conveying a series of information that you have to follow step by step, right? And that is similar to how you need to convey information on RPGs. So you have these rules that you want people to understand in a certain order to get that. So yeah, you can look at cookbooks because they do that really well, and not a lot of people know that. For like cookbooks are good for RPG design.
A lot of cookbooks are great. I love that. I think there's a lot of like magazines that have 10 steps to do X or things like that you can pick up some stuff too. That's pretty cool. I think you totally nailed it. Like it's space. Like make use of space. That's really important. Another thing you can do is pick a great font or a great font set, and vary your text size as appropriate, right? Like you can make something look really good with almost nothing, but a great, like a pair of fonts and some sizing and good use of space.
Absolutely, yeah. I was gonna, if you didn't mention fonts, I was 100%. So I'll just double down and say, get a good font or a good series of fonts. There's if they will probably do the sale again, and I highly recommend, especially if you're doing stuff that's like really, actually no, it's on sale right now. I don't think they ever take this thing off of sale. Go get the checkered ink all fonts pack on itch.io.
Oh, I have that.
Yeah, 1,200 fonts for $20. Like
it's great.
Yeah, it's really solid. Great. And they got a lot, like it's all really vibey and like, you don't need stuff that's all that crazy gonzo to immediately give someone like I know what I'm reading. I understand what this is, just with good font choice. And then maybe combining those two into like a really practical, if you want to study something as examples. I know that people always give them shade for being unreadable, but I will say that the Borg books are some of the best lessons in shape language and font choice. And while they certainly break the rules, but they are breaking them very intentionally and respectfully of the rules, to where you can tell that like there is a method to the madness. And there's one page in Cyborg that I always talk about when people are like, I don't get it, it's unreadable. There's one spread in Cyborg that I talk about, which is the starting weapons spread. And there's one where it says assault rifle and then like the stats for it. And then it just says with grenade launcher on the next line down as like a separate table entry. And then just a little line. And it's like, that's brilliant. You didn't have to repeat assault rifle. You didn't have to rewrite those texts, just with grenade launcher, smaller text, same line. Like it was so skillfully done that it just like injected knowledge into my brain without me really having to parse it. And I think that's a lot of, you can do that kind of stuff with really good just shape language and layout instead of it being art.
Yeah, I think saying it like it is done with intention is a very good way of putting it. Like have intention with how you want your words to convey what you're saying. Yeah, that's good.
And if you wonder how to manage 1,200 fonts on your machine, and also the Google fonts, I can recommend Fontbase is a great tool. Yeah, for that.
I just kind of install them all and
forget about it. Scroll wheel. Which one am I looking for? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I already said that one. What software would you consider essential? Personally, I have done a lot of work with Affinity. Affinity 2, I haven't touched Affinity 3 because I don't trust Canva, and I know they're going to do some
no one should trust
AI
Canva.
bullshit. Canva is very very AI forward, and I don't like that. So I stick with Affinity 2. I don't even know if you can buy Affinity 2 anymore.
You
I
can't.
think you can't.
No.
Well, there's ways to get it still.
There are ways to get it still. Yeah.
The Affinity Suite is good. I just jumped into it. I think you should just jump into it.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to struggle first.
Mm.
You're gonna have to struggle to learn. You're gonna have to fail to learn. Just keep doing stuff. Do little things. Do big things. Mix it up. You'll get the hang of it. But Affinity is just a really good Affinity publisher specifically is a very good layout software. But do not underestimate the power of Google Docs, because honestly, you could do a lot with that. So if you could just make something cool on Google Docs, and you don't need to put art or anything, and you don't need to like do all this extra layout work, you can just get a PDF from Google Docs. But yeah, the best way to do any of that is just to do it.
I was gonna recommend Affinity as well. I got into it by I wanted to start stepping away. So I started in 5e. So I used Homebrewery for the longest time, and it did so much heavy lifting of making it look like really polished and real. And so I will say, if that's the look you're going for, Homebrewery still exists. It's a fantastic tool. You can upload new backgrounds and really tinker with things and get experimental. And like you can make it look not just vanilla 5e. Like you can make it look pretty extraordinary. If you're more into the like HTML, CSS kind of world, that's a very good option for you. Affinity, I got into it by basically I commissioned somebody to be like, hey, I want to make some Morkborg stuff content. Can you just make me like 8 spreads that are fairly reusable with just some like assets that I can like smash together and just kind of move around into the shape that I want them? And they're like, sure, dope. And it worked really well. Like it got me I was able to make the first thing. It taught me Affinity where I didn't have to make everything from scratch. I could just play around with things that already existed. And there's lots of good tutorials online for, especially for a product like Affinity 2, where there's like so many people have used it. I have only just now had to, and I emphasize had to, move to Adobe just because we've started working on book sizes that Affinity starts to like really crunch on. And so sadly have had to make the leap, but Affinity can do so much that you will, by the time you run out of tools, you are officially not a writer that can't do art. Now you're actually doing art if you're running out of runway with what Affinity could do for you.
Very true. Very true. I started with Photoshop, actually. I did a lot with Photoshop. I had a cheap, like, well, I started with Photoshop long enough ago. It wasn't subscription. So anyway. And then, and I used Illustrator some for like vector graphics and things, but I wasn't very good at it. And it wasn't until I really got into thinking about doing some of my own layout that I got the Affinity Suite, and then, man, so great. Yeah, I got it back when it was 1, and then I worked more with it in 2. 2 is really great, and yeah, I'm sad. I have big sad.
I will say 3 is free, right? So if you need it, use it. You can avoid the AI stuff until they start jamming it in down your throat, but it is free if that's your budget.
Adobe is really expensive. There are other desktop publishing tools, like Microsoft makes one that's fairly inexpensive. You can use, documents tools like Maddie said, or, just do whatever you can. I think if you're making PDFs, whatever you use will be good enough, right? I mean, ultimately get your stuff out there so that people can see it and play it. And that's a great place to start. If you're going to press, then you have a whole other set of problems, and you really do have to use a professional tool.
Yeah.
So yeah,
there's nothing wrong with being experimental, especially in like a time where like people want to see human made in a really tangible way.
Yes.
Like, I don't know how to make. Oh, I put an image into the Word document and it exploded. Yeah, just print some stuff off and then like cut it out and Xerox it, and like that's the look. Like that could be such a vibe. Like,
it can.
yeah,
You could always go old school and just do it by hand.
Yeah.
As well.
Yep.
Typewriter and scissors.
That's right.
I'd love to do that, honestly. That
Honestly,
sounds so fun.
I have I've gotten into like Coptic stitching for the game that we're making, The Beckoning Dream. I want to like do like hand bound versions. It's been fun. Like
So cool.
like literally like just using a bone to like straighten out signatures and stitch them with wax thread and like bind them into it. Like it feels so old world and real and tangible that it quickly becomes addictive. Now like half of my Instagram is just bookbinding Instagram reels of like new techniques for like how to like sew leather into like the stitching and like do all kinds of crazy tricks. And yeah, old world stuff can be really fascinating and fun.
Yeah, and it's as of now it's inexpensive unless you want to get really, really deep into it. Okay, we'll go on to what was the last art/visual skill you learned, and from where/how? I was learning. Essentially, I was looking into like zine designs, and how zines are laid out, and how they're made to be like folded by hand. And I did something. I had with my friends a Secret Santa where we had to make all our gifts by hand. Which I would recommend you doing that with your friends. It's very fun. And I decided, okay, I'm gonna make one of my friends a little personalized game, and I'm gonna do it as a zine. And there are templates that people have on like itch.io, and it's just you download the template and it's all already kind of laid out by page. And it's weird because it's like page 1, and then right next to page 1 is page 12.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just really messes with my brain to know like, okay, these pages have to fold into these pages, and you have to be kind of small and precise with your text boxes, because otherwise then it'll look, because the zines are kind of usually pretty small.
Mm-hmm.
It'll look small, but that kind of zine layout stuff is probably the last skill I learned. And I just kind of again, I used that template, and I was just kind of looking at other people's stuff and seeing like, oh well, how do they do this?
Mm-hmm.
Those templates are so fun. There's a I think there's a someone from Vietnam is on another one of those reels that I always see, and he has like 18 of these templates, and they keep getting more and more bizarre to where there are like one of them has secret pages in it where you have to like open it and then like flip it and then fold it a different way, and you find new pages to the zine. It's incredible. It's the best. I love it so much.
That is so cool.
That's really cool. For me, the most recent thing that I have gotten, I think it's not that I didn't know how to do it. I had done it in the past, but I just wasn't very impressed, and I wasn't very good at it. Is editing vector graphics. Vector graphics actually aren't that hard to edit. It's a little tedious, but it is kind of a superpower. Like being able to turn something into what you actually really want it to be, rather than, something else. And of course, you can make your own, and I've done plenty of that as well. But that's kind of the two skills are basically the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's not much difference between making a vector graphic and editing a vector graphic that already exists. But yeah, it's very, very satisfying to make something that sort of exactly fits
Mm-hmm.
what you had hoped for, instead of just picking up some random stock vectors or whatever.
I'll add that learning to do like simple vector art is a good way to learn how to do any kind of traditional art, because again, that's just shapes.
Mhm.
That's just shapes, and learning how to do basic shapes is such an integral part of any kind of art and drawing. Um, and if you can get really good at vector art, it kind of becomes a cheat code where you're like, I can't draw shit, but I can do some shapes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Even the best drawing is really just shapes. It's just shapes and like color blocking. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll cheat a little bit on the question. This was not the last thing that I learned, but it's still the thing that's the most magical to me, especially if you're in a like, I just need something that's quick and dirty and it will make things look good. If you gradient maps are black magic. Gradient map, like if you don't know what those are, it's basically just assigning different colors to the whole span of like black and white values that are in an image. And you can go look at the, this is not product placement, this is teaching. Go look at the Merc Soul cover art. All that is black and white of some Blender artifacts that we made. So we like 3D rendered some like spaceships and stuff. And then we slapped this like acid green and blue gradient map over it. And it looked dope. It looked like this weird, grungy, like painted thing. And all it was a gradient map on top of 3D objects from just like a still image of 3D objects. And so like you can bring in all kinds, like I made a planet. It looked like a weird infected broken planet. It was a picture of like a bone from stock art that had been like rotted out a little bit, and I just slapped like a little bit of green and orange gradient filter over it, and it looked all of a sudden like those little like half planet silhouettes you see in like a Star Wars zoom edit. And it was just like, this is perfect. You never know that this was a bone. This is a planet now, just because I changed all of the colors. It also gets you to like learn color theory in a really interesting way, because it teaches you to look for and find the browns that make things muddy, where it's like if you go from one color to the next and it goes a little bit awkward in the middle, it teaches you how to fix that and to add other bridging colors that will get those to work better, and refines your color palette theory, all that good stuff you can learn doing gradient maps. And it becomes this thing where it's just like, this image, boop, gradient map, apply, tweak. In 10 minutes, you have a fantastic piece of art that you just put a text box in front of, and it's a 2-page spread, and you love it.
I want to come back to something, actually, because you reminded me of another thing. This is by no means something I learned recently. It's something that a designer friend of mine told me a long time ago when I was trying to do a lot of things with like layer effects and things like that. They said, hey, instead of doing all the layer effects, if you ever just tried just looking at all the blend modes on your layer. Yeah. Just look at the blend modes on your layer. And it's really incredible what you might come up with just from taking a quick peek at that. So yeah, it's really fun.
If you've ever been struggling with the wand tool and you're trying to like get rid of like white or black backgrounds, screen and multiply. Use those blend modes. Done.
Yep.
I just saved you hours. You're welcome. Like, it's truly magic what you could do just knowing that some of these things exist.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We have what non-art things can you do that make your games more appealing, i.e. words and text only? Like I was saying before, like shape language with text boxes. You can put text on a page in so many creative ways. You don't have to follow like a novel layout, right? In one of my recent ones, all of my text is laid out like a comic book. They're all in these weird slanted boxes and like word bubbles and stuff like that. And I was just experimenting. I was like, this is probably gonna look like shit and it's gonna be busy as hell and weird, but I'm gonna try it, and it looks awesome. And that's just from like boxes. There's no art in that book yet. but yeah, like you can get so creative with text boxes. So like that I would just recommend like experimenting with any kind of text effect you can do. Like do some fucking word art. You know, like
Yes.
see what it looks like. You might be surprised how it turns out. Uh but yeah, you can get very, very, very creative with how text is laid out.
I'm thinking about, you said Google, like you could do a lot of magic with Google Docs. When I was doing like playtest docs in Google, because I didn't want to go through the whole, that was back when I still felt really intimidated with layout. Like just doing really simple, like you can select text and just treat that text with different indentations and margins and put a box around it, and the box can have different thicknesses or colors. Simple stuff like that can make like, oh, I've got regular text. Ooh, a call out box. This is GM notes. This is something to pay attention to. Just any sort of visual key to break the line of reading so that your reader goes, I need to pay attention to this. There are very simple ways to do that that all work really, really well. And I think the only other thing I would say is to come up with a voice that you're talking in for how you're conveying your game, whether that voice is really dry and clinical or whether that voice is kind of punchy and gritty and like has like a, like is there like unreliable narrator in your rules text? Like is the person teaching this game off of the page, is that voice fully trustworthy, or do they have a bias in how they are teaching that game? Think about that kind of stuff, because I've been playing with that with recent games of like having multiple voices in the text where call out boxes are written in a different voice than normal rules text. And that can get very interesting. It can be, you're sort of doing almost like visual narrative, visual storytelling kind of things inside of what would otherwise just be a rules manual, inside of a cookbook.
Yeah. I think the words you use are really important, obviously, right? Writing, I mean, as a writer, right? I think obviously that's huge. And the voice is part of it. I think another part of it is, well, I mean, you can make any mode something that someone's going to be interested in if you do it right. Right? You could make the driest, dullest, most long-winded thing worth reading if you do it right. Or, you know, you can make it punchier and shorter and head for like, hey, these are the things you really need to pay attention to, and then here's some stuff that maybe you do or maybe you don't. But also I think just typography in general is really interesting, and there's a lot of good resources out there for that. But you know, books are one of them, right? I had to lean over to grab this earlier because
Yeah.
there's a lot of resources for things like this, and they're not hard to consume, right? Like I could open this book right now and I could point to 3 pages that have, you know, really interesting designs on them that I might learn something from, right? It's yeah, and it's all type. It's nothing but type. So I think all good thoughts.
Oh, I had a thought and I lost it.
No, come back.
You can also, another random thought, this is a different one than what I lost, but like you can look at like lyric videos, like old like
Ooh, yeah.
stylized lyrics videos, and you can see like, oh, what wacky things are they doing with text. You can, I find watching someone do something helps me a lot. So there are plenty of people who like do creative streams on like Twitch or on YouTube, and you can just watch them work essentially and just see their process, and that really helps knowing like how that stuff works. Personally, I'm a visual learner. Like I read books and then I completely forget what I read. So it helps me a lot to like see someone doing it. I have learned so much just from talking to people. Like, I've learned so much just from like meeting people and talking to people who are doing similar things to me. And that is, it's very helpful. Just find people who are doing the thing you want to do and copy them for a little bit. At first, copy them. You will develop your own style and language. But if you need a baseline, just copy what someone else is doing at first. Some people may frown upon that advice.
Not me.
Copy, yeah, 100%.
You know what they say: imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So,
there's another phrase that's like all good things rely on theft, like in like a jovial, kind manner. Like we're all just learning from each other in a way of like,
nothing is created in a vacuum.
No,
I think there's a book called Steal Like an Artist or something.
Steal Like an Artist. That was what I was thinking of. Yes, thank you. Yes, you saved it. Yeah. Do that. And a good way of doing that, potentially, if you're thinking like, oh, I just don't want to sit there and like watch somebody, if that's not appealing to you, potentially co-working with people, like just throwing up your screens and like, this is what I'm working on, this is what you're working on, and just working in parallel, especially if like you've got like mismatched skills. Like find an artist that kicks ass but really needs a writer editor, and then you're the opposite. Like that's a duo that can really hum along and teach each other and build skills in parallel.
Yeah, I mean, that was something else I was going to bring up that wasn't like part of one of the questions is when you like meaningfully get into like community stuff, when you start talking to people and you're around people a lot, and you're offering your own skills, people will offer their skills to you. Make friends, find people who are as passionate in the things you're doing as you are. And you'll find someone who is so hyped to help you. Like if you're not good at art, you'll find an artist who like is really into what you're doing and will do art for what you're doing. You just have to put yourself out there. A lot of people, myself included, are hesitant about like using artists, essentially like exploiting them, because artists get a lot of exploitation in many industries. But if you make a genuine friend, if you find a partner who is into the things you're into, and you're both like putting the same amount of effort in, you're both making the same out of it as you're putting in, they'll be happy doing it, and you'll be happy doing it. It's just a matter of like, if you're making money, share it. Don't fucking don't be an asshole about that.
Yeah. And if you don't want to have a partner, which I do approve, I think having partners is great, and finding ways to make those relationships effective. I do a lot of collaborative work, honestly. But if you don't want to do that, then a body doubling situation can be really effective as well. Like working with somebody like same space, same time, or same online video call, whatever, like however you have to do it, whatever makes sense for you, depends on where you live and who's available. But doing a body doubling type of thing, I think can be super effective at, just sharing knowledge and information as you go. Sometimes being able to turn around and say, hey, look at this thing I just finished working on. What do you think? Right. And get that feedback in real time is huge.
Yeah. And if you're not making money, but you still want to be building relationships professionally, consider work exchanges. Because like the example of like an artist that needs words and a writer that needs art, like set up a non-monetary contract, set up just a freelance gig of like, I will write the words for your thing and you will make the art for my thing. Keep them small scope, don't overcommit, but just create ways of exchanging work that makes both of you better. Put your name in as many colophons as you can. That way you're getting that experience and you're building those relationships, and you're like, you know what? It was dope working with you. We should do a Kickstarter. And then like now you're really humming along. Now you're doing the things that like make long lasting impact in your ability to break into the scene.
And I will always say, your greatest ability as a human with the resources of modern technology is your ability to learn anything you can and your ability to just fucking try it.
Yeah.
You got to start somewhere. You got to build a tolerance for frustration, honestly. If you're someone who doesn't know how to draw, you don't know how to do art, but you really want to, you just got to do it. You just got to start. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. It's going to suck. You're going to hate yourself for a little bit, but you got to just try, because you'll never get better if you don't try. And the same goes with any kind of writing and any kind of layout work and any kind of, like, if you're printing stuff, you just got to start. You just got to start and try. And you'll gain skills as you
Yep.
go. I never thought I was ever going to be able to make something outside of like a Google Docs. I'd never once in my life thought that, like, oh, I will have like a professional software like Affinity or Adobe, and I will make something that looks good and I can print and I can sell it to people and they will like the way it looks. I never in my fucking life thought that. But I had to like push that aside. I had to push that aside and just make it. I just had to start.
Yeah. Don't let perfection be the enemy of progress. And one tip that I see, even like, it's so weird being in community with artists, because you get to see, this feels so weird to say, you get to see them at their worst. And it's this moment of like, well, wait, you're so good at art. How could you possibly doubt yourself? But then they're like, well, I was feeling really bad, so I gave myself permission to do this sketch and it didn't matter for anything. And like, real artists do that. Like, just have a sketchbook, do a daily little stupid doodle. Tell yourself it is a stupid doodle that doesn't matter, and give yourself permission to make it bad, so that your 20th stupid doodle you look at and you're like, oh, this is actually really good. I actually nailed it that time.
I also think, like, I was saying this earlier, but like, if you don't do art, just doodle something. Make it like simple. Do some simple like icons and stuff. For Let Me Be Your Thrall, I really wanted to do full like vampire illustrations, but then I just pivoted and I was like, I'm gonna make this look like a diary essentially. And so I just did these. I had Krita. Krita is a free drawing software. I used Krita. I had I have this used Surface laptop, and I had a pen that I also bought used, and it was really cheap. Um, and I downloaded Krita, and I just used a pen that looked grainy, and I just made little doodles essentially. I made little like bat doodles and skull doodles and stuff, and it came out looking really good, and it had a lot of personality.
It does
Just
look really good.
yeah, just from those little shitty doodles. And another choice I made was to not put any color except red.
Nice.
Which monochrome stuff, it pops out. It pops. Even if the art isn't super professional, you have a bunch of black and white stuff and then like a pop of one color, it'll look nice.
I love 1 and 2 color things so much.
Yeah.
So much. Yeah.
It's amazing how often I see just monochrome or duochrome, and it's like, I never notice it in a way that is like, oh, it's only monochrome. It's always just like, oh, that slaps. That's awesome. I love it.
Blue is my favorite color.
Yeah.
That's all the questions we have here. So I think we've covered a good amount of ground with this little talk.
Yeah.
Do y'all have any final closing words?
On topic, I think you all hit it really well, but I'll come back to it for just a second, right? Just, if you want to do this, just do it, right? Like, Don't let anybody stop you, and least of all yourself. Just do it and don't stop. And if you find that there's a part of it that you enjoy more than other parts, then lean into that, right? Like, I don't know. It turns out I really do like doing the design part. I didn't know that that was going to be a thing that I liked, like the graphic design stuff. But I enjoy the hell out of it. I think it's really fun. And I still like to write, and I like to do other things too. But yeah, don't like experiment with all the things that are a part of producing games until you find the things that you really love and lean in. Yep.
I will say I never thought I didn't think I was gonna like doing like layout stuff, and then I ended up kind of liking it a little more than I do writing. And writing has always been like my thing. Like I've always been so passionate about that. And then I was like, all right, I'm doing layout for Let Me Be Your Thrall, and I was like, oh, I kind of like this. I like doing this a lot. It's fun.
Yeah.
I think only thing I have to add is just in terms of like a practical, like how to get there. Allow yourself to rotate, because like Maddie, you just said you never thought that you'd enjoy layout. Like, Will, we're clearly like we're doing this professionally, semi-professionally, whatever, and we're figuring out like, oh, this thing that I never thought I would like, I like it. Give yourself permission to be like, oh, I've really hit this brick wall with writing. You know what? I'm gonna go doodle. Like, turn on a different part of your brain. And even if that doodle is absolutely worthless, the fact that you're giving your brain something creatively to do, you're going to be able to come back to that writing and attack it in a different way, and you're going to be way more productive. So just allowing yourself to experiment and to fail gracefully and gloriously is all very healthy to the creation process.
Yeah.
Failure is not antithetical to success. It is part of it. If we're going to be quippy.
Certainly. Yeah, it definitely is. I think another thing about like you got me going. I think an exercise that some people I know like to do is they actually write their games into layout sometimes, right? Like they don't even, it never hits a document. It just goes straight into the layout of the book. And the thing that I think is really interesting about that is you get the right shape of words for the page rather than trying to make the page fit the shape of the words that you wrote.
Yes.
So, and also I think it gives you, and you alluded to this, Matt, too, just like that experience of doing layout gives you a better sense of how to shape your words better for layout in future. So I think it is a complementary skill for sure.
I just did that, and it's almost a meme at this point, like never edit into layout or never write into layout. And it's like, all rules are meant to be broken, and definitely break that one. I had reached kind of a like brick wall with myself of always hire editors, and I'm gonna get there, but like I needed to self-edit The Beckoning Dream to where I felt like I feel good with this text. I'm ready to hand it to an editor. And part of what I did was I saw, and this is another just point of advice for anything creative: consume. You need to consume lots of creation so that you know, I like that, I don't like that, and then think about why don't you or do you like those things. I saw Johan Noor post this like image of old-fashioned text with marginalia, and he was like experimenting with that as a new layout, and I was like, that is fascinating. And so I rewrote all of this game, well over 100 pages, into old-fashioned text in the middle, marginalia on both sides, and each margin had two different voices in it. One was like a contemporary to the original author annotation notes, and the other one was like 100 years in the future contemporary to us annotated notes. And by doing that just little exercise of like, oh, this little piece of text, it feels clunky. What if I wrote that in a different voice and I put it in the margin? It completely transformed the game into something I'm now very, very happy and excited about. And so like doing that into layout, being experimental, and that was all text. That wasn't art. It was just, this is one text shape and there's different text shapes on the side. There's no art there. It's just text shape and layout shape. And it really did a lot of crazy stuff. So yeah, be experimental, consume stuff to get yourself good ideas, and then just go and do the thing.
If I can use a hockey term, because I've played hockey all my life, If you want to learn how to skate, you got to fall. You gotta fall, and then
Yeah.
you'll learn eventually.
That's so good.
Good
Alright.
community of people at
Yeah.
IGDN.
Mhm.
If you're not a member, could consider joining there. I think it's very reasonable in terms of like annual dues, and we have a great Discord, and yeah, a lot of really awesome people to chat with, learn together with.
I
Co-work.
have
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have learned almost everything I've learned from the IGDN Discord. It is a very good resource to just have people who know more than you around you, essentially. Just be around people who are better than you.
I've learned a lot there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we've covered everything we need to cover here.
Do we want to do a final where to find us or anything like that, maybe?
Sure. Why don't you go first, Will?
I'm Will. I've been Will. Hi. You can. The best way to find me is the Adept Icarus website, Adept ADEPTICARUS.com. And there's socials on there for what amount of socials I'm on, my Discord, and yeah, and all the games and stuff. So yeah.
I'm Matt. I've been Matt. I will continue to be Matt, theoretically. And you could probably find me at infinitecitadel.com, infinite-citadel.com. That's where I'm publishing all of the games that I make and all of the games that I make with my co-conspirators as we get more outlandishly ridiculous every year.
Funny enough, I've only been Maddie for like 2 or 3 years. So, I'm Maddie May. You can find Milkboy Games on any social media certified Milkboy. That's certified, where the last I is a Y, Milkboy. You can find my NeoCities website, certified-milkboy.neocities.org. That has all the links to like my itch.io and stuff like that. I don't have a online shop yet other than my itch because I haven't gotten around to selling physical products yet. I'm still working on that. But you can find out what I'm working on. You can follow my newsletter, which I talk about all my projects, and I run a lot of game jams. So you can keep up with that stuff if you want to. Game jams are really good at learning how to do stuff. If you just want to do something, just jump in. Yeah.
Have a good one. Go make games.
Yeah.
Go make games. Go do it.
Do it.
I'm gonna cut it now.
Yeah.
That's wise. Don't do that.